Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're talking about one of the biggest headaches in software development, that whole process of just getting your machine ready to make one tiny change.
Exactly. We're diving into the tech that's making that friction disappear. The GitLab Web IDE.
And this is for anyone who's ever, stared at a huge list of dependencies and thought, all this just to fix a typo.
It is. For years, the classic developer excuse was, well, it works on my machine. This tool kind of flips that on its head. It moves the machine, or at least the editor, right into the browser. So if you can open a website, you can contribute. It's a huge deal.
Okay, so let's just get right to it. The single best tip, the aha moment. There is a secret keyboard shortcut to launch this thing instantly.
It's the ultimate pro move.
What is it?
It's just the period key, the dot. You're looking at a file, a repository, anything in GitLab, you just hit the period key.
A dot on the keyboard.
Yep, the dot. And boom, the entire Web IDE just launches right there in your tab. No menus, no clicking, just instant access.
That is an amazing efficiency hack. It takes what could be a whole process and just boils it down to one keystroke.
It really does. You're replacing a 5-minute setup with a 1-second action.
Okay, let's unpack this a little.
Yeah.
When you launch it, it doesn't feel like some clunky old web app.
Mm-hmm.
It feels familiar, comfortable even. Why is that?
That's the key, isn't it? That comfort is totally by design. The GitLab Web IDE is built directly on the VS Code core.
VS Code as in Visual Studio Code, the editor that, everyone uses.
The very same. So you're getting the engine from arguably the most popular desktop editor today, but running in your browser. The moment it loads, you see the layout. The keyboard shortcuts mostly work.
And the syntax highlighting.
All of it. The syntax highlighting, the familiar feel. It just eliminates that cognitive load of learning a new tool.
Right. So the whole point is to get rid of that initial friction. I see a typo in some documentation, but the old way meant I had to clone this massive repository.
Exactly. You'd have to get clone, maybe wait for hundreds of megabytes to download, then find the file, make sure your SSH keys are set up, all of that just to change 3 characters.
Wait a minute, though. If I'm a serious developer, I've got a powerful local machine, my terminal's all set up, why would I give that up for a browser tab? Isn't there a performance hit?
That's a really important question, and it gets to the limits of this tool, which we will definitely cover. But for its main purpose, quick edits, documentation fixes, configuration changes, the performance is, well, it's a non-issue.
Okay.
And the trade-off is immense speed. You're not compiling the whole project in the browser. You're just editing text files. You're avoiding what we call dependency hell just to fix a sentence.
Got it. So it's like you don't take a race car to go get milk from the corner store.
That's a perfect analogy. You're optimizing for the simple journey, for the frequency of contribution. Okay, so this brings us to a really crucial point, something that trips up a lot of people. The difference between the web editor and the web IDE.
They sound the same, but they're not.
Not at all. And you have to know the difference. So when you're looking at a single file in GitLab and you see that little edit button, that launches the web editor.
The editor, okay.
Think of it as the one and done tool. It's for maximum simplicity. You open one file, you change it, you commit. That's it. It's basically a notepad.
So if I'm just fixing a broken link in a readme file, the editor is perfect, fast and simple.
Correct. But if you launch the Web IDE, which, remember, you can do with that dot shortcut, you are in a whole different world. You're in the full multi-file powerhouse.
And the interface makes that obvious right away, right?
Yeah.
Walk us through that layout.
Yeah, it's that classic 3-pane developer layout. On the far left, you've got your file explorer, and that's key. You can browse the entire repository, every file, every folder.
So that's the fundamental difference. If my readme fix also needs a change in, say, a changelog file somewhere else,
the web editor can't help you. It's useless for that. But the IDE lets you open that readme in the main editor pane. Then you can open the changelog in another tab, maybe even a config file in a third tab, all at the same time.
you can work on them all at once.
All at once. And then on the right side, you have the most important part, the source control panel. That's what makes it an integrated development environment.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting because it stops being just a text editor and starts acting like a proper local Git setup.
Absolutely. The source control features are, frankly, amazing for a browser tool. So you've made your changes to those 3 files.
Your readme, the changelog, the config file.
Right. They all show up in that source control panel on the right. And you can see them listed there, and you can choose to stage them for your commit. You can stage 1 or 2 or all 3.
And staging is where you double check your work.
Yes. And before you commit anything, the Web IDE gives you clear side-by-side diffs.
So you see exactly what's changed. Red for deleted, green for added.
Exactly. You click on a file and you see exactly what you're about to commit. It's so important for preventing mistakes, leaving a comment in or something. It helps you keep a clean history.
And then the commit itself. This is where the huge time saving comes in, right? It's not just committing to the current branch.
No, this is the workflow game changer. When you're ready to commit, it gives you these options that replace a whole bunch of terminal commands. You can commit to the current branch, sure, or there's a little checkbox.
And that checkbox does what?
It lets you instantly create a new branch for your changes, and this is the magic part, it will automatically start a merge request, or MR, as soon as you push.
Let's quickly define a merge request for anyone listening.
A merge request is just GitLab's term for a proposal. It's you saying, hey, I made these changes on my new branch. Can we please review them and merge them into the main code? It's the core of collaborative work.
So let's be super explicit. That little checkbox, what manual steps does it replace?
Oh, it's a lot. Manually, you'd open your terminal, you'd type git checkout --b my new branch, then git add, then git commit m my awesome fix, then git push, and you're still not done.
Right, because then you have to go back to the GitLab website.
Exactly. You go back to the UI, you find your branch, you click create merge request, you fill out the form. It's maybe 5 or 10 minutes of focused work.
And the Web IDE does all of that with a commit message in 2 clicks.
Yes, it just abstracts away the command line. And that's how it really delivers on the promise of everyone can contribute. A project manager can update a planning file, or a technical writer can fix documentation without needing to know a single Git command or set up SSH keys. It's incredibly empowering.
Okay, so now for the deep dive catch. It sounds almost too good. Does this thing just replace my local terminal entirely? Can I just live in my browser now?
That is the line in the sand, and this is the main limitation you have to understand. The standard Web IDE, the one from the dot shortcut, is for editing and committing. It does not have a live native terminal.
So I can change the code, but I can't run the code.
You've got it. If you're fixing a bug in some code, you can edit it, but you can't compile the application or run the unit tests right there in the browser to see if your fix actually worked.
Ah, okay. So it's not a complete replacement for a development environment. It's the front door.
It's the editing gateway, not the runtime environment. And that's a conscious design choice. Giving every single user a full virtual machine just for a quick edit would be incredibly expensive and overkill most of the time.
So how do I verify my work then? If I can't run it, how do I know my fix didn't break something else?
Great question. There are basically 2 paths in the GitLab ecosystem. The first and most common is you rely on GitLab CI/CD.
The automation pipelines.
Right. When you make your commit and the Web IDE creates that merge request for you, that action automatically triggers your project's CI/CD pipeline. That pipeline spins up a fresh environment, runs all the tests against your new code, and reports back.
So you let the robots do the testing for you.
Precisely. You make the change fast in the IDE, and the pipeline does the verification. It decouples editing from testing. The second path is for when you really need a terminal. That's a more advanced feature called a workspace.
A workspace, what's the difference?
A workspace is that full cloud development environment we were talking about. It takes longer to start up, but it gives you a dedicated, pre-configured virtual machine. And critically, it does have a functional terminal inside the browser that's connected to that machine.
So you can compile, you can run tests, you can debug live.
All of it. So the simple way to think about it is Web IDE for docs, configs, and simple fixes. Workspaces for deep debugging and full feature development where you need that terminal.
Okay, let's bring this all home. If you're listening and you want the 3 key takeaways, the things you absolutely have to remember about the Web IDE, what are they?
All right, let's boil it down. 3 non-negotiable points. Number 1, the shortcut. The period key. Just the dot. It's your instant entry point. It's the fastest way in.
Okay, 1, the shortcut.
Number 2, multi-file support. This is what makes it an IDE and not just an editor. You can stage and commit changes across multiple files at once. It's for serious, coordinated changes.
Got it. And 3.
3, it's built on VS Code. That's why it feels familiar. You get syntax highlighting and a layout you already understand. There's basically no learning curve.
And there's one final really practical thing to remember.
Yeah.
a prerequisite. You can do all this amazing editing, but you still need permission to save your work, right?
That's the administrative reality, yes. To actually push that commit and create the merge request, you must have at least developer permissions on that project. If you're just a guest, that commit button will be grayed out. It makes contribution easy, but not unauthorized. So when you step back and look at it, what does all this mean? The Web IDE is, I think, a really powerful statement about where development is going. It takes the single biggest barrier to entry, that whole local setup nightmare, and it removes it with a single keystroke.
It shifts the focus from setting up your environment to just
Yeah.
doing the work, writing the code or the documentation.
Exactly. And that makes you think about the next step, doesn't it?
It does. If the standard Web IDE is perfect for editing, but its main limitation is that lack of a terminal for testing.
Right.
And we saw that today with CI/CD or with these heavier workspaces. How much more seamless does this all become when that runtime, that testing capability, becomes just as instant as the editor itself? The trend seems to be heading toward a place where needing to maintain all those specific local dependencies, the right version of a language, the right libraries, might just go away for most tasks.
Which really makes you ask the big question, what is the role of the local developer machine when all the complexity, the setup, and even the execution moves entirely to the cloud?